Okay, I have two very special guests this morning who need no introduction, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves to their audience. Go ahead, Jefferson.
Hi guys, I'm Jefferson White. You might know me from Yellowstone. I played Jimmy Herdstrom on there, and I'm very, very excited to talk about our movie Drink and Be Merry, directed by Adam Volerich.
Hello, I'm Adam Volerich. I directed Drink and Be Merry, and you might otherwise know me from the film history and analysis podcast, Eye of the Duck.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Okay, I want to get right into it because I have watched Drink and Be Merry three different times, so I have three different
Oh my
interpretations.
goodness.
Well, there's a reason for that. I'm a journalist. So I want to start off, Jefferson, this question specific to you. I noted that you had made this comment about how very special this film is to you. So could you please tell everyone specifically why?
Well, first of all, thank you for watching the movie three times. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Thank
truly.
you for coming in here with such a sort of informed perspective on it. This movie
Sure.
is special to me in a number of ways. I would say, principally, Adam and I have been making stuff together for maybe 7 or 8 years, and that
Something like
whole
that.
time we've kind of grown together as filmmakers. I've grown so much as an actor from working with Adam. And so this film kind of represents the zenith of growth we've been doing together for a really long time. And it was kind of putting together all of these pieces that we've been cultivating, this community we've been building for the whole time we've been working together. So it really felt like a big kind of family affair that represented years of mutual investment in each other from Adam and I. So that's very special about it. And then I also found the film itself, the content of it, the narrative, to be really special in that I feel like it manages to capture all the contradictions of the holidays. For me, they're always like a little happy and they're always a little sad, and it was really nice to get a script written by Leo Winters that really manages to embrace both of those things fully. Yeah.
Okay. Adam, on the flip side of the fence, let me just ask you, what is it that you think that Jefferson brought to this role that made the film more special?
Yeah. Well, well, the character Chet, as written, is a very staid person who is really stuck, and the film is so much about stillness. And I find Jeff to be a very energetic, very lively, very charismatic guy. And I thought that sort of trapping Jeff specifically in this location and with the way I wanted to shoot the film in these kind of little boxes and sort of feeling Jeff trying to burst out of them, I thought would create a really nice contrast and bring a lot to the character.
Sure. You bet. And he certainly does. Absolutely. One of the things that I want to talk about is the music in and of itself. I often tend to think is not only a character in the movie, but in your particular movie, it sets the mood for the story arc. So I want to talk a bit more about how did you folks come up with the composition for this track?
Well, there's a number of different sources for the music in the film. There's a lot of sort of archival Christmas music from like 1910s and 1920s that were like wax cylinder recordings that we sourced, leaning on that sort of ancient kind of feeling. We thought was appropriate for the location and kind of the setting of the film, and allowed us to, I think, do a sort of Christmas movie without having to lean into any of the kind of standard tropes of like the Christmas music that you're maybe more familiar with, at least
Yes.
like the modern like poppy stuff anyway. And then there are some original compositions by Nick Massetti, who we worked with on another film before this, a short film called Misprint. And he brought a lot to the film as well. And then there's two songs that are contemporary pieces of music that we sourced. One was written by Wharton Tract, who plays Shorty in the film, and that's the
Yes.
song that plays on the jukebox when Jeff is dancing. And then the credit song is written by Tim Heidecker, who was very gracious in sharing his music with us.
Thank you very much for that. Jefferson, question relative to your character. Most of the time, most of us are used to seeing Anna horse. I know your full repertoire, but I know a lot of people have the Yellowstone version, of course. And so you bring even more this character. We start watching the film. Maybe about halfway through, we decide to realize, you know what? There's a lot of vulnerability to this character, far more than I would have expected. And you bring that so strongly to this character, front, back, and sideways. So, how did you find that vulnerability?
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I really feel like there's actually some similarities there between the character probably people most know me for is Jimmy. Is there these guys who are sort of stuck and they want so badly to like blossom into adulthood. They want so badly to like grow out of the place they're stuck in. And in Jimmy's case, you know, in the first episode of Yellowstone, he gets kind of grabbed out of the trailer, grabbed out of this life that isn't serving him. Whereas with this character, Chet, we're spending time with him in that stuck place. So we see this kind of yearning, I think, this kind of this guy who is very sort of trapped, very kind of his growth is very stunted. And the more we learn about him as he sort of shares his inner life with the young woman that he meets, we learn how like how much he needs to escape this stasis in order to grow. Because I feel like, oh, it's a little boy. We learn that he's a little boy trapped in a 35-year-old man's body because he's so much of his life is stuck behind this bar tending to other people's needs, sort of helping other people self-medicate, you know. So I think he's a little bit of stunted, and we never this film ends with him kind of perhaps breaking out of that stasis, as opposed to Yellowstone, which starts with the character breaking out of that stasis and getting thrust onto a journey of self-discovery.
You betcha. Would it be fair to say that you think your character finds himself within maybe the bar patrons? He can see portions of himself within the characters around him?
Yeah, and I think also a series of cautionary tales, you know? I think he sees
Hmm.
all these guys, and in one respect he worries, oh God, if I stay here for 30 years, am I seeing the future? Am
Yeah.
I just like these guys? And they've all lived these full lives. All these other characters in the bar, they have this rich history. They have their own lives. They have all these experiences. I think Chet is worried that he's, you know, he's looking at them and he's like, wow, I'm having none of the experiences, and I'm sort of stuck with you. So I think he sees a kind of a mirror, yes, and a bit of a cautionary tale. You know, there are these kind of portraits of Dorian Gray, these kind of versions that he hopes he doesn't grow into.
You betcha. Okay, Adam, on the flip side, let's talk about visuals for a second. I am a sucker for black and white. So the fact that you literally incorporated black and white into this, I have to talk about it. What made you want to put that into this film, and how do you think it enriched it?
Yeah, similar to the use of the kind of older archival music, there was this idea that nostalgia is sort of a really important theme in the film, and sort of the incongruous, overlapping nostalgias that each of the individual characters have for an earlier time in their life, an earlier time in history, and for Chet being a lover of film and sort of seeing this television in the bar as a like the window out into the world, and having this very romantic, like capital R romantic view of Christmas. The idea that when he finally got to break out of the bar and maybe go on a date a little bit, it just felt natural to try that scene in black and white, which is a decision I have to credit to Dom Nero, who edited the film with me. I think he first was like, "What if we tried black and white?" And we ran with it, and I'm really glad we did.
Excellent choice. I would have to say it fits super well and it enhances the mood, and I can't say enough about it. One of the things that I love about this film is the writing. For instance, I love this. You don't trust ATMs. You're not Jewish. There's just these lines that stick out to me, and I'm just like, they're absolutely hilarious. So, my question to either one of you is this: was any of this improv? Because I always like to ask that question. Were you given the ability to be able to step somewhat outside of the box? And was it your intention, excuse me, to make it more of a dark slapstick, or would you think it's a combination of maybe like a dramedy, would you say?
Well, those two lines you've highlighted, those were definitely in the script. There was, of course, some improvising on set, and allowing the actors room to breathe. But
Sure.
I think the thing that attracted both of us to this project was the script that Leo had written, and so much of what you hear in the film is straight from Leo's heart and mind. I think the film was maybe originally written more as a dark comedy, but for me coming to it, I felt the sort of deep well of sadness underneath everything, and so my instinct was to treat it more like a dramedy than a black comedy.
Understood. And to you, Jefferson, question for you. Not every actor who signs on to a project also becomes a producer to the project. So could you please tell me what it is that lured you to get on board to support this project outside of being an actor?
Yeah, I mean, well, Adam, very much Adam. We've wanted to kind of graduate together to making
Hmm.
feature films for a while. We've been looking for opportunities to continue to grow, you know. So I think the main thing is I would work on anything that Adam asked me to, and I would sort of support it in any capacity that Adam asked me to, because he's been incredibly supportive of my work and my growth. Yeah, I think really that's it. And then it's lucky that the script that he brought to me, that he got from Leo, was such a strong script, and also like contained. You know, I think Adam read this script and said, "Oh wow, I know the bar we can shoot this at. I have a great relationship with all of these character actors, these amazing older sort of New York mainstay character actors who populate the movie." It felt like this script was a perfect opportunity to combine these elements that we had unique access to as a
Hmm.
community, and also just the kind of intergenerational opportunity of it. I think that so much it's a really rare and precious thing to get to bring in and learn from all these amazing actors. And this movie's a great sort of rotating ensemble of brilliant
Hmm.
actors. So yeah, those are all things that attracted me to it.
Hmm. And I have to mention, I was surprised it wasn't in New York, that the pub itself, the Ale and Witch, is actually in New Jersey. So I have to
It
ask,
is.
besides association, do you feel that the story you just looked at it and said, you know what, this is an absolute fit? So I'm curious why you sought that place. Because I'm like, this is interesting. You could have gone anywhere.
Well, I think I very much feel it is a New York story, but I do think it is also, in the specificity you find universality, and I think that if you have a hometown bar you've gone back to at any point, like it's this bar basically, even if regardless of whether or not it's in New York City or not. The bar specifically, the Ale and Witch pub, a very real bar, and in real life is much more lively and fun and exciting than it appears in the film. That's actually the bar I used to hang out at when I was a student at Rutgers University, and Robert, who runs the Ellen, which was incredibly gracious in being open to us shooting there during the hours that the bar was closed, and offering us a rate that was within our incredibly limited budget.
Limited budget. Yes, I
Yeah, I
get
think the
it.
main thing is any indie filmmaker will tell you, like, okay, locations are a problem.
Oh,
Hmm.
yes,
I
they
think the
are.
main reason, yeah, the Alien Witch, because Robert was so generous with us, was the perfect. It was amazing. We sort of, because you also could never build a set like that. It was established in
Yeah.
1974. It's like a
Yeah.
really incredibly, like it actually is very lived in. Like no amount of production design could fake that space.
Yeah.
And that would be incredibly expensive to try to do in New York
Oh, I
City
bet.
proper.
You
Unless
betcha.
you have a relationship.
So my last question to you is this. As a film reviewer, if someone were to ask me what Drink and Be Merry is, I will tell you it's the story of settlement and spirit. It's depression and despair. It's also advocacy and an eventual acceptance of the who and where for now. But you two, can you give me two sentences and tell your audience what Drink and Be Merry is to you?
Oh, amazing. Well,
I mean,
first of
that
all,
was
that's great.
lovely.
It's not fair for you to go first because then we have to follow that. I describe it to people as a Christmas movie in a dive bar that's a little sad and a little funny.
You.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people it's a melancholy, bittersweet dive bar Christmas movie.
It is. And it's everything that I mentioned. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to watch it and to talk to you about it.